Hello everyone, this is the second episode of the podcast called No Idea. So I am Jenny and this is my co-host Allie Hewling.
Hey guys.
There she is. We discussed having her have a foreign accent and then people would be like, ooh, she's foreign, I want to listen, but no, she's American. Simple, plain, real, authentic. Which leads us into what we're going to be talking about today, so stay tuned. But, Allie, will you tell our listeners why we decided to call this podcast No Idea? Because I think some of them are curious.
Yeah, so it's actually a really funny story. Jenny and I were talking about what we were going to call this podcast that we wanted to do, because we've been wanting to do it for a while. And I was talking to my boyfriend one day, just kind of about like how we were going to do this thing, and it was really exciting and really fun. And he's like, so what are you going to call it? And I was like, I have no idea.
Boom, there it is.
And then it was just there, the light bulb went off, like the heavens opened, angels were singing, like it just was there.
Yes.
And so then I kind of just like, that's it. We're going to call it No Idea.
Eureka!
Yeah, because we have no idea what we were going to call it, and they have no idea what we're going to talk about every week.
Yes,
so.
It's just a surprise for you guys every single time, so you're welcome. But that's the reason we call it No Idea. And we also figured that you guys want to know who the heck you're listening to, so we're just going to do a little icebreaker question for the both of us. Are you ready, Allie?
I'm so ready.
Is your seatbelt and helmet on?
I have 2 seatbelts and 2 helmets.
For both of your heads? Okay, I'm so glad you're so prepared. The question is, if your life were a set of categories on Jeopardy, and there are 6, mind you, that's right, I'm Alex Trebek, and this is Jeopardy. What would they be? So, Allie, tell me what yours would be, summarizing your life.
Okay, so my first one would just be a compilation of just my favorite things. You know, just like coffee, tea, my dog, all that good stuff.
I love your dog, too.
So cute. I love
Percy,
him.
so cute.
Percy's so cute. Anyway, and then I would do music because I just love music so much. Adventuring and just the different places that I'd love to go or the places that I've been. Also my bucket list because I have a really big bucket list.
She really likes buckets.
You know me. Then I would just do like the arts, like books, literature, like actual art. And then I would do movies and TV shows because I watch too many.
Please help. All right. If I were going to categorize my life into 6 Jeopardy categories, one would be funny stories. I tell them and have them a lot. The next one would be classic blunders. These are the stories that are almost in the funny story category, but they're a little too painful for me to share. Just mistakes I've made. Embarrassing moments, stuff like that. TV and movie quotes, because I quote them way too often.
Somebody send help.
Please, someone. Next one is deep thoughts. I feel like I have a lot of them. People don't give me credit for them, but, you know, I write them down. Then my favorite things, like Allie's, and the next one is travels, because, you know, we love the places of the world. So, those would be our categories.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering who you were listening to, it's Jenny and Allie, and this is our show. No
idea.
No idea. So, we wanted to introduce what we were going to talk about today. Hope you guys are excited. Allie has 2 seatbelts and 2 helmets on, if that's telling you something. You should be excited too. Our topic today is about vulnerability and authenticity. Ooh. So,
that's a good one.
If you want to put on an extra seatbelt, now's the time to do it. Allie, would you define vulnerability for us, just so we all have a feel of what we're talking about?
Yes.
This is the Webster Dictionary definition. So,
the pièce de résistance.
it is so professional. Go on.
Okay, so vulnerability is the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally, which I think is not the definition that you would expect to hear when we're on the topic of vulnerability, but it makes sense. Because when you, like, personally, when I think of vulnerability, it's more like, oh, like soft feelings, we're just being deep. And
Just talking about my feelings with
yeah,
you.
yeah, but I think with vulnerability, there is, like, that aspect of, like, there is a possibility of being exposed
Yeah.
to that harm, whether it is physically or emotionally. So.
It's like, I'm going to open up however that looks like in the moment, and we don't know what the outcome's going to be, but I'm going to choose to do it anyway. So
Yeah.
it could go really good or it could go really bad.
Yeah.
So saying that, just so you guys know, I will probably mention the name Brene Brown multiple times in this episode. I don't know, maybe once, twice, 5,000 times. If you haven't heard of her, she is a researcher, and she has many videos on YouTube and has been on TED Talks and has a podcast, so go and look her up. But she literally studies shame and vulnerability, so it's kind of crazy how much you listen to her and you're like, oh my gosh, she's reading my diary. But she says, vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. And I just think that's a perfect example of everything we experience when we are vulnerable with other people. Is like, to them it just sounds like I'm doing this thing, creating this thing, and then letting people see it. Or I'm telling you about how I feel, telling you how I've been hurt, etc., etc. It can just take many different forms, but to that person sharing, it sounds like the most courageous thing to them. You're like, I don't know what'll happen, but here I am, and I'm just showing up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
with that, Allie, what has been your experience with authenticity and vulnerability?
Yeah. Kind of just to set the stage, when Jenny and I were just preparing for this, like, as we were sharing, like, on the topic of authenticity and vulnerability, I kind of started noticing that my struggles with vulnerability tend to be more, I can be real and authentic with other people, but I can't be really real and authentic with myself. So that's kind of just where I'm coming at on this topic of vulnerability, which I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that.
Explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah,
What
for
does it
sure.
look like?
So when I say, like, I can be vulnerable and authentic with others, and I can, like, share a little bit about, like, my roots and how I honestly think that came about, but I can just, I have no issue, like, telling people what I think is happening in my life, or, like, if I think I'm failing or struggling in an area, or, like, if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, or if I'm ashamed of something about myself, like, I'll just full force just tell people about it, and there will be no shame there. But if there's something internally that I don't really want to admit to myself, I'm ashamed of it, and I don't want to bring that to the light, or bring that into a place where, like, okay, like, I have to own this, and I have to deal with it. So going to people with it, no problem, but bringing it to myself and being like, no, this is actually where I'm at, and that's okay. I think that's the thing I have the hardest time with. So
word vomiting, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. No problem.
Yes, as we were talking about that, I realized I had the opposite problem. So for me, I can, like, admit things to myself and, like, keep it to me, and I'm like, okay, I have problems in this area, I'm struggling with this, etc., etc. But then opening up to other people is, like, sometimes like pulling teeth to me. No one likes getting their teeth pulled. But as you can tell, I have a full mouth of dentures. Just kidding, I have all my teeth. But opening up to other people has been always really difficult for me, because I fear being betrayed, or maybe, like, I tell people this thing about me and it's not validated by them, or they just kind of brush it off, or they tell other people that I'm not comfortable with knowing that. And so it's kind of the opposite problem for me. But just so all you guys know, we are both in the process of becoming more healthy in this and, like, growing. We have grown, so we're sharing that with you, but we have so much farther to go.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah,
So
no, it's true. It's for lack of a better word, the skill of being vulnerable and authentic, like, that's, like, a lifelong kind of process that we all go through. And everyone's just in a different place, and as we were talking about that, I thought, like, how awesome is it that we're bringing two different perspectives to the table, and we can play off of each other like that. And, like, yeah, I just thought that was so just profound and really cool.
Love that. Love working with you. Wow, Jenny. Tell our audience what you said earlier that I was like, oh my gosh, Allie, that's so good. Write that down.
Yeah.
So I wrote it down for her.
So we were just, again, chatting about the whole topic, and I said it's better to deal with things now than not deal with them at all, because what kind of life is that if you just stuff everything down rather than dealing with the things that you know need to be dealt with? And I think this is something that I've been coming to a realization like this year, where the things that I don't want to admit to myself, if I don't grow past them, then this is all I'll ever have in this moment.
But that would be such a great loss.
It would be such a great loss. And like, there's such like a deeper level of just joy in life that comes from that spot of authenticity and vulnerability, being able to just, hey, this is who I am, and I'm in process, and that's totally fine. Just that coming from that spot where just there's no shame or embarrassment based on where you've been or where you're going or different things like that. But being able to be like, you know what, I'm pursuing life.
We are on our way up. Yes.
We're pursuing life and life abundant because that's what's been promised to us. So, yeah, we want life, we want joy, we want peace, we want those things. And so I think a really big piece of that is being able to be vulnerable and authentic in that.
And people tell stories about opening up and then just getting shot down or, you know, rejected in some kind of way. And when they have the courage to open up again about that same topic, but they are loved and received in a good way, that is like one of their deepest joys. So I think for many years I did not understand how opening myself up to other people and basically to attack, right, to the possibility of not being received well sounded so scary to me that I was like questioning, like, why would I even try if there's a possibility of being rejected? And then I realized just over time, and probably like last year, maybe the year before, that is the only deep level of joy you'll get to, right? My next question will allude to who told me that in the first place. But Allie, is there anyone in your life that you know personally or not that has modeled vulnerability really well for you?
Yeah, I have two people that come to mind, if that's okay if I share both of them.
Oh yeah, no, you're not limited here. You just go for it.
I'm so excited. The first one I'm going to mention is my dad. My dad has been one of, honestly, just like my greatest inspirations when it comes to vulnerability and authenticity. He's the kind of guy, like, he just is who he is, and he's not ashamed of it, and he just owns up to where he is, whether it's good or bad, or he's in process, or just he's not doing hot, or he's doing great. And he's just not afraid to be who he is. And that's just something that's been modeled from my childhood, where I've just seen my dad in process with different things, and he wasn't ashamed of it, or like, maybe he was, but it didn't change the fact that he was still going through things. And just teaching me, like, hey, life isn't like cut and dry, where like everything is nice all the time, but instead life can be really messy and really hard. But what are you gonna do while you're going through things like that? You know, what are you gonna choose? And I just really admire the fact that my dad, the biggest lesson he taught me was it's okay to not be okay.
That's beautiful.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the first person. And the second one is actually my grandma, who's actually his mom.
Oh, it just runs in the family.
Yeah.
You know what that means? You got those genes.
Oh.
Yeah, that denim. That's what I'm talking
about. Yeah. But yeah, my grandma, same way. Like, it's okay to not be okay, and she was always there to process things with me.
Oh, what a great grandma.
Yeah, if I just needed, like, a processing buddy, like, I'm going through things, I didn't know what to do, like, she would just give me such wisdom and grace and just this just giant reflection just of love, even when things were messy and really scary.
Oh.
And so, just, like, the two biggest lessons I've learned from people whom I love very much is, like, it's okay to not be okay, and people will come alongside of you when you're doing that stuff. So those are my two models of just vulnerability and authenticity. How about you, Jenny?
Okay, well, mine is someone who is basically my older sister, not by blood, I wish, but she and I were serving in a ministry together. How many years ago? It was 2, right? Yeah, I met her about 2 years ago.
Okay.
She's like 7 years older than me, 8 years older than me. I was like, can you just like be my actual older sister?
Yeah.
But she models vulnerability so well because she just understands that the areas that will cause the greatest loss will also cause the greatest joys. And I never understood that until I met her. And just watching how she lives her life taught me that. She never actually had to say those words to me for me to understand that. And I remember one time I was really struggling with something, and I went and I talked to her about it because I trust her with my life. And the next day, she was like, hey, how you feeling? And I was like, I'm good. And I wasn't fully good, but I did feel a little bit better. But she like came over to me and she's like, you don't have to be completely okay now. It just happened yesterday. And I was like, oh, you're right. I don't have to be fully okay now.
Yeah.
And so I think she's also someone who doesn't run away from certain emotions. And I have been in the past where I'm like, this is very frustrating. I'm gonna not deal with it right now. Or this is very sad to talk about. I'm just gonna not deal with it right now. But she doesn't run away from those things, and she just embraces them, which ultimately makes the process so much better instead of wasting time and, ignoring things. So yeah, she's been my inspiration. Love you, Shannon. If you're listening out there.
Oh, we love you, Shannon.
Talk about you all the time, Shannon. Okay, moving on. And our second to last question. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Are you guys ready? Okay, you can't answer right now. You're on a podcast. How can we create an atmosphere in which authenticity and vulnerability is valued?
That's a really big question.
It is.
Something like I was just thinking of as we were talking is I think boundaries are extremely important when we're talking about vulnerability because we know that there's just certain things we shouldn't share with certain people in our life.
Yeah.
And it's not even for any bad reason. It's just you don't need everyone to know everything about you. And so my greatest recommendation, first and foremost, would be have a small, close-knit group of people that you share things with in that, like your inner circle of people that just you can go to. Because again, not everyone needs to know every dark thing about you or every secret that you have. That's not like what we're asking you guys to do at all.
Just to be clear.
Tell all your secrets. Like, no, because that's not healthy either.
No,
that's going to the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
That's a whole nother set of
therapy.
Yeah,
that's just like a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
But so I would say like find like that close inner circle that you can just share things with, just trustworthy people who like you love and respect so much that are able to pour into you and you into them as well, because that's important as well. I would say that's extremely just important, just knowing the people that you're actually being vulnerable with.
Yeah. Also, can I say one thing about that? Is that I feel like this is what I have done in the past. It has helped me in a way. I can see how people will be like, that's a little weird, but sometimes I write down the people in my life that I can trust and that I know are completely safe people. And then I make another list. I'm like, well, maybe for certain situations, these people, but maybe not for others. And so that is making lists of people in your life, if you think that's weird or not. But that has really helped me because it's just put it in a place in front of me where I can see it. And I think that if I have doubts about a person, I kind of just take a step back and I just reevaluate that friendship. And I'm like, is this healthy? Do I see this growing or deteriorating? What's going on? Also, if that person is going through a hard thing, you should be there for them too. But if it's getting toxic, take a few steps back.
Yeah, that's for sure. We want to trust the people that we share our stuff with.
Yes. And we don't want any one-sided friendships in a way. someone's like, I trust you with my life, word vomit, word vomit, word vomit, and you're like, oh my gosh, I barely have enough time for my own problems.
Yeah.
I can't do yours too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, that's for sure. We want to make sure we know the people we're sharing things with are actually able to, like, emotionally and mentally, like, handle what we're giving to them. Which, yeah, nah, that's so good.
Do you have another one?
I'm trying to think, because it is such a big question. I would say just another thing would be, I think everyone just cultivating that in themselves is a huge thing, because how can you expect other people to be vulnerable with you if you're not trying to do that yourself and be that for someone else? So I think it's not only going out and finding that community, but being a community for people to be able to be vulnerable with. And if you're not in a spot to be able to do that, then being authentic and vulnerable enough to say that you're not in a spot to do that.
It always comes around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a huge thing. Just that whole topic of authenticity and vulnerability.
It is. Can't believe we decided to cover it. Wow.
I know.
We really dream big, don't we?
Shoot it for the stars.
This is also something, I don't know, maybe I did get this from Brene Brown, maybe I heard it somewhere else, maybe it just popped into my mind, but courage begets courage. So if you are brave, other people will be inspired to be brave too. It's the same thing with vulnerability, where if you share something, that might really free someone else to think, okay, I can be comfortable sharing that too. And so sometimes it does take just taking the first step.
Yeah.
And then other people will follow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good.
So, as we're winding down with this podcast, thank you, listeners, for hanging in this long. But we just want to challenge you guys this week or this month or this year, sometime, just try to identify areas in your own life where maybe you're not being honest and real with yourself or honest and real with others, and define why. Are you afraid? Are you just nervous? Are you scarred by past just hurts and maybe like scars that people have left on you? Do you need to bring this to the Lord? And what steps do you need to take to become, healthy in that area?
Yeah.
So that is our challenge to you guys. Any other thoughts, Allie?
I think that's all I have.
I think we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
That is our gift to you guys. Here we are putting on a bow and sending it to you. Just let that sink in. This has been your hosts, Jenny and Allie, on the podcast No Idea. So, thank you guys for everything that you've hung in there so far. You've just been so faithful with our last 2 episodes. So just imagine. Yes, just imagine what a third one will do.
Yeah,
but
crazy stuff.
Yeah, if you know us, message us and be like, hey, what else do you want to hear about? We are open to any ideas. But yeah, take this idea and run with it. We will see you guys around, but not really. We will listen to you guys. No, wait. Podcasts are
You'll
hard.
hear from us.
You will hear from us. There it is. All right, signing off. Jenny and Allie.